And welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me here in the studio today is Olga Lasovskaya. She is from the Ukraine. And also joining me is Rupert Bergman. He is from Moscow.
From Austria.
From Austria, I'm sorry.
No
and
Passing through Moscow.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we have Boris Fogel, and he is from Moscow.
Yes.
And you're from Austria,
Right.
of course.
Don't worry.
But that's fine.
We're all an international family here.
Well, today joining us is a beautiful team, Masters of the Arts, who are going to be performing as a part of the Newton Festival. And it's really good to have you all joining us here today on Living in the 21st Century.
Thank you, Errol.
Olga, you're no stranger to this show, so tell us what's going on and what we can look forward to see.
Thank you, Errol, so much. It's always a pleasure to be here on your show, and thank you for inviting us again. And I would like to thank the mayor of Newton City, City Warren, and the Arts Council, Linda Plout, for organizing Newton Festival of the Arts. And it's a beautiful program here in Newton, one of the most beautiful cities to live in. I live in Newton, so I know what I'm talking about.
Beautiful.
And many, many wonderful events are going to be happening this month, April, and in May that are part of the Newton Arts Festival. And we're very fortunate to be part of it as well. And we're preparing for our concert this Saturday, April 22nd at 7 p.m. in Newton City Hall. The program is entitled A Musical Voyage from Vienna to Kiev. Since we have Rupert from Vienna and I'm originally from Kiev, and it will include opera, operetta, Broadway, and songs, folk songs, and many famous hits such as Edelweiss from The Sound of Music and If I Were a Rich Man from Fiddler on the Roof, and a few duets from that show, and many, many wonderful comic and not so comic pieces for all ages and for all different audiences, from adults to children. So come on over and we'll be happy to see you.
Beautiful. So Rupert, tell me, you're all the way from Austria visiting here. What could we really expect from you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you just said, I'm from Austria. I'm living there as an opera singer. I do shows like operetta shows, like Fiddler on the Roof, for example. I also do a lot of contemporary opera. Okay. And I come to the United States on a regular basis, actually, because I have family here.
Beautiful.
My sister has been living here almost 10 years,
okay.
Up on North Shore in Nahant. And this is, for me, this is a family visit, actually, with my real family and with my musical family, okay. Which is sitting right in front of us.
You have a double family. That's beautiful.
So, and I have been knowing Olga for about 4 years, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
We have been on a very wonderful concert in 2013, I think it was, and we were talking every time when I came over, and now she invited me to join her on this musical trip.
Yes, a guest on our program.
And that's why I'm very happy to be here in Newton with you. Thanks, by the way, for the invitation to the program, to the show. And yeah, Olga already told you something about the program. We have, of course, since the theme is starting from Vienna to Kiev, we start with Austrian operetta. We do some from Leha and from. We start with Mozart, actually, not only operetta. We start with
Mozart,
Don Giovanni,
the most
and
important
we
composer.
we have the duetto from Magic Flute.
And
Bach,
Don Giovanni, Zerlina Don Giovanni duet.
Okay.
Schubert, and we have Schubert,
Okay.
and then we move on a step forward.
And the interesting thing that I'm going to be doing in that Austrian part is one Ukrainian song written by a Ukrainian composer, Kosanatolsky, to the lyrics of a Ukrainian poet who studied in Vienna, and he received his degree in philosophy from the Vienna University, and so he wrote this beautiful poem that was set to music, and we included it in the part from the Austrian part. And then we're going through
Hungary. And we have something from the Gypsy Baron, the Pig Farmer's Song, and a very beautiful aria from Fledermaus, from
Czardas,
Czardas.
aria.
And then we move on to the Ukraine, and of course, I'm sure you know that Fiddler on the Roof is playing in a little town, a little shtetl, Jewish town in near Kiev.
Anatevka.
Yeah. So we chose that, and since I have done the show in Austria and in Italy 2 times, so we have a little, if I were a rich man, diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum. You know, yeah. and then at the end we go
we
to
come
Kiev.
to
We come to Kiev,
and I sing a few Ukrainian songs, and then we finish with the beautiful potpourri of Vino du allein and Ночи солов'їні, ночі весняні, which is a Kiev waltz.
Yeah. The famous Kiev waltz.
Yes.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. I must say, if I may add,
Sure.
I on a regular basis not only come to the States but also to Ukraine. I have very many friends in Odessa and in Kiev, so it's for me it's kind of a homecoming in a certain sense.
Excellent.
You know,
very good.
And I know many places in Ukraine, and that's why this whole project was very interesting for me on a personal level too. Yeah.
Excellent. So Boris Forel, you're from all the way in Moscow, and there's one thing for a fact that anyone can clearly state is that Russia and Moscow, which is the capital of Russia, I believe, right? Have been producing, some phenomenal artists when it comes to the performing arts, in opera, and some of the best symphonies also would have come up with that region. Would you care to really elaborate at this point to your contributions to this art form and what you're doing right now?
Эрл говорит, что известно, что из России выходят очень многие потрясающие музыканты, особенно пианисты. И он хочет спросить вас, рассказать, как вы стали пианистом, и какой ваш вклад в искусство, как пианист и как музыкант. И, может быть, расскажите немножко, как российское образование или тот факт, что вы выросли в России, как он на вас повлиял в том, что вы стали.
Моя творческая судьба немножко отличается от тех музыкантов, которые приезжают сюда и ездят по странам Европы, Азии и Америки, потому что я начал свою жизнь как инженер.
So my musical destiny is a little bit different from most of the musicians who come and perform here, because I started my musical journey as an engineer.
И работая инженером, я понял, что я занимаюсь не своим делом.
So as I was doing my work as an engineer, I realized that was not my calling.
Я всегда играл дома, я любил открывать ноты,
I always liked to play and sight read.
Вот, и я поступил в Москве в Гнесинский колледж,
And so I entered Gnesin College in
в
Moscow,
котором я учился 4 года. Я закончил и стал работать в организации
where
Москонцерт.
he studied for 4 years, and then upon graduation he entered a Moscow organization called Moskoncert, Moscow Concert.
Поскольку в моей судьбе очень важно было, я всегда любил подбирать мелодии. Я
I
любил
always liked to
импровизировать.
improvise.
Вот, читать с листа свободно. Это мне пригодилось, потому что в Москонцерте работал более
I was
30 лет.
very good at sight reading, and it was great skill to have, because then the
Я
Moscow
ездил
concert
очень много с
was
знаменитыми
offering me many
певцами.
concerts, and I
Ну,
played
из фамилии
to
был
for
такой
many famous
певец
concert
Иван
singers.
Петров, знаменитый бас Большого театра.
Famous Bolshoi theater singer Ivan Petrov I accompanied.
Так, была знаменитая эстрадная муви-стар, такая Ружена Сикора.
He played for many celebrities,
И много работал с актерами драматических театров.
and even for actors. He
Театр
played for
сатиры.
actors.
Это все movie-star были фактически.
That's beautiful.
Это интересная жизнь была.
I find it quite fascinating, though,
Для меня это
to
очень интересно,
cross over from being an
что
engineer
вы от
into
инженера перешли
music.
в музыку.
There's like two different
Это совершенно
kind
разные.
of.
Да,
I mean, it's possible, but it's just unique
я
that you cross
почувствовал,
over.
что я должен что-то поменять резко.
I've
в жизни.
sensed in my heart that I needed to change
Я
something.
поступил учиться, мне было 25 years.
So he started his studies as a musician when he was 25 already.
Но я поездил очень много по странам Европы, Азии.
And then he toured many different
Много
countries in
стран
the world.
объездил. И в 2000 году, в ноябре, с семьей я приехал в Бостон.
And so he came to Boston in 2000.
Да, поскольку сестра жены здесь уже жила.
Okay.
Connect.
Okay.
Family.
What legacy would you like to plant right here in Boston as a musician now who lives here?
Какое вы хотите наследие оставить здесь в Бостоне как музыкант?
Но вы знаете, что для меня очень важно здесь? Я написал 2 книги.
What is very important for me, while being
Которые
here, I wrote 2
записки
books.
концертмейстера.
Concertmaster's notes.
Okay.
Вот последняя книга, это 500 страниц.
The last book that I published is
вся с
500
фотографиями,
pages
с автографами.
with photos
И
and
я ездил в Вашингтон, у меня там были
biographies.
концерты, и я ее отдал в библиотеку Конгресса. Вот они мне прислали благодарность.
So he even gave one of his books to the Congress Library in Washington.
Beautiful.
Да, Вашингтон. И знаете, что я хочу сказать, что я, приехав сюда, я не знал, что со мной здесь будет.
When I came here, I didn't know what was going to happen to me.
Okay.
Но я как-то постепенно стал играть
But
везде, где я мог.
gradually, I found
И вот я
my
рад, что я
ways where
продолжаю
to play,
заниматься
for whom to play.
то моим любимым делом,
So this is
которым
my
я
favorite
занимался всю
thing
жизнь.
that I love
Я
to do.
аккомпанирую. Вот
I
я рад, что я
accompany.
Олечке играю во
Yeah.
всех ее программах.
Yeah, we've known each other for сколько уже лет мы
Ну,
знаем?
лет 12-13.
At least 12 years
12
we've
years.
known
Много
each other,
программ.
and we've done a
Okay.
lot of programs
Я стал
together.
делать программы для себя одного,
Okay.
где я играю,
Okay.
пою
Okay.
и рассказываю.
So he also does programs for himself where just solo programs where he plays
Okay.
and sings and
Okay.
tells
Итак, я
stories.
делал много программ, это посвящено истории русского танго.
Okay.
Так?
So are you going to have any of your work channeled towards the world of academics or anything like that?
Что
Вы преподаете в академии?
Не, no.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But sometimes I might teach
Yes.
children,
Sure.
no problem.
Yes, because I think with your wisdom and knowledge,
С вашей мудростью и вашим
that is
опытом
definitely that you impart this kind of
очень
wisdom to
важно,
the
чтобы
younger
вы передавали
generation.
But a
ваш.
very interesting event in my life, educational bridge
Yes.
in Boston.
Okay.
And every year I visit Moscow and St. Petersburg.
Okay.
And I playing and concerts. But in this May, I have to visit Moscow again.
Okay.
And вот Дом актера,
Yeah, the
Okay.
actor's
институты.
house.
Ну, в общем, я буду
So
играть.
basically he does share his
Это for my-
experience.
для моей души это хорошо.
Excellent.
Which is good for my soul.
Beautiful. I have something else that may be good for your soul too. It's going to be political, but I want to ask Rupert the next question. So Rupert, okay. How regular are you planning to travel back here and really display this kind of talent that you have? Because it seems to me that you are solid in the thing that you do and you have a passion for it. And
Yes,
we are right
of
now
course.
in the,
After
this right now you're in the music world of America actually. So what are you going to be touring much more regular with Olga?
Well, I'd love to, but you know, my main focus is of course in Austria.
Yes.
I have productions there going on.
Okay. Beautiful.
And my visits to the United States are basically family
Yes.
visits.
Right, okay.
Unfortunately, but
Okay.
I have my life in
I
Austria.
understand.
And but I love to come here.
Yes.
I have been coming here for many years,
Okay.
and I will do this in the future
Beautiful.
because I have a lot of friends here,
Okay.
and
Nice.
so
Sure. Well, my question goes up to Olga. I mean, you're no stranger here. You have your name actually planted in history's page when it comes to the performing arts all through Newton and other places. You travel internationally and perform. Where do you go from here? What is your dream in terms of leaving a lifelong, lasting legacy that people will always know about Olga, who would have come here and really plant performing arts on the map in Newton and opera, etc.
Well, Errol, you ask very profound questions, and these questions require a lot of time to answer. I am very fortunate to be here in Newton.
Yes.
I think it's a wonderful place to live in, and also a wonderful place for arts. Again, thank you for the Newton Arts Festival.
Yes.
I think it's a wonderful endeavor on the part of the government, and I would hope that government all over the United States would support arts much more. Right now, after my concerts with Rupert, and then I'm going to perform with Commonwealth Lyric Theatre, a beautiful gala in Newton City Hall, again, part of the festival, and then I'm going to perform with Refugee Orchestra Project, which is a beautiful project helping the refugees and immigrants from all over the world to get a better life.
Yes.
And I'm going to be singing some of the repertoire that is dear to my heart, with an orchestra led by a beautiful conductor, Lydia Yankovskaya. So I feel that beyond my art, beyond my personal struggle and search for artistry, like perfection artistry, there is a bigger picture. The picture is, of course, is to share love of music and beautiful beautiful singing, art of really well-trained voice, sharing it with as wide of an audience as possible. And of course, ideally, I see myself as somebody promoting arts and culture on a higher level, somewhere maybe in the government, maybe someday. I mean, my education in college was international politics and economics, so I started as a politician, and then just like Boris, I felt that that was not something I was called for at that moment, and then I perfected my voice, and right now I see that I'm being invited back into the field of politics, not only through specific connections, but also through my views. I really would love to help my fellow singers. They are struggling right now in the United States, and I'm calling to you. You know who you are, and my hope is that I could help with all these concerts that I'm producing. I'm hoping that something great will happen.
Well, you know, I'm glad that you touched that subject, because it helps me to reflect right here in Newton. And I think Linda Plow, who is the director of Arts and Culture,
whom I love dearly.
I'm telling you, she's a godsend. I mean, a blessing to the arts here in Newton.
She is.
And not only is she really pushing the arts to a new level, but I've also recognized she is actually building the economy within the city by promoting arts to this whole new level. And because of that, here we are, Austria, Moscow, representatives from different diversities, and this is what other cities, I believe, can actually take a page out of Linda's book. And I think that by doing that, we can make the United States a better place. And
I completely agree with you. I think that arts, I really do not understand why arts is something that's always first on the budget cut list. I don't understand.
Well,
because
maybe I can add something from the European perspective, because of course we have this discussion also in Austria and in Europe, where there's actually a lot of money for culture. The big theaters are very well funded and also smaller producers. I used to work with small opera producers.
Yes.
They get a couple of $100,000 of euros per year for their productions, which I think the United States colleagues can dream of.
Right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm really glad you mentioned that. Because here in Newton, and this way we also have to give credit to the Village Bank, who had been, I understand, sponsoring the arts in many ways. Hat off to the Village Bank, because the reality is that they will be making also a significant contribution and contributing back into society. This is what we need corporate organizations to do, to help. Don't just see arts as someone singing or performing, but see it as beneficiary to, as a benefit to
the whole system.
To the whole system. That is important, very, very important. But I know we're running down on time, and I want to ask Boris this question. Now, I recognize there's a love-hate relationship between US and Russia. I'm not going to go too hard on this one.
Отношения немножко такие резкие с США, Россия, как бы любовь и ненависть все в одном. Политические.
Yeah, perfect friends.
Far from political.
Okay, well, I won't taunt you with that question.
Only music.
Only music.
Very
Okay.
difficult.
Okay, yes, that's the difficult one. That's the difficult one. I'm sorry. Okay, so tell me, Olga, what could we expect over the coming days that you're going to perform at this concert, and what you have in store for the balance of the year?
So once again, on Saturday we have a musical voyage from Vienna to Kiev, and then I'm participating in Commonwealth Lyric Theater's concert on May 12th at Newton City Hall, and then May 22nd will be a refugee orchestra project at First Church in Cambridge on May 22nd. And then musical duel of tenors and baritones on June 24th at Newton Highlands Congregational Church, and June 25th at Mechanics Hall. And then I have a lot of great plans, but we'll talk about those some other time.
Sure, definitely. We counting on time, but Rupert, is there any kind of advice or you would love to give to the younger generation in terms of seeing music, the performing arts, as a way to control the stress levels in terms of living a prosperous life in today's 21st century?
Well, both for young artists and for young audience, I only can recommend to listen to music and to make music and to check out what's there in the history.
And to listen to live music as much as possible.
Yes, yes. And speaking to young singers, I always tell them, don't do it. It's a very hard job. You really have to size down your life and to have low costs, etc. But if you really want to do it, do it. Exactly. You know, if you feel it very deeply, and if you're willing to sacrifice and to the arts, then do this. And it gives you much more than well, a good job in the bank, you know, or wherever.
Exactly. And Boris, what would be your advice to the younger generation today?
Совет для молодого поколения.
In terms of developing their musical skills and trying to succeed in a hard, competitive market as a music industry.
Свое искусство и быть успешными в этой отрасли.
Ну, самое главное любить музыку.
The most important thing is to love music.
Настоящую музыку.
The real music.
Потому что даже вот, мне кажется, вот современная музыка, которой молодежь охвачена, она не дает душе ничего.
He feels that the most modern stuff that the youth nowadays listens to, even though it's entertaining, it's not necessarily the greatest food for your soul.
Вот сейчас мне хочется сделать программу американской музыки прошлого века. И там все песни, они все очень душевные, они все с хорошими словами.
Yeah, he's working on preparing a new program of American music of 20th century, and all the songs have such beautiful lyrics and very soulful melodies.
Gershwin, Berlin, and Porter, and another composer. Very good.
Yeah, that's nice. I can remember clearly on our last program, Olga and I, we would have spoke, is that whenever there's some big entertainment, even the American Idol, you will find that whenever someone sings opera, it changes the whole atmosphere.
Oh, yes.
And I believe it's the actual foundation in which music were built off of, the opera setting and the classical kind of music.
Oh, yes.
Had actually set the foundation for great musicians today. But as the time spread over many generations, people developed different lyrics and different beats, and then one type of music started to phase out. Is there any plans you have to rekindle this flame?
Well, I strongly believe, actually, as a singer and as a producer, I strongly believe that media, press, television, radio, play a huge role in what is in. You know, what is in fashion.
Yes.
When people are saying that opera is dying, that is absolutely not
true.
Not true.
Not true.
And also, if the TV and media were to cover more this art form, you would see an immediate and huge comeback. Because children, they're not exposed to opera. They don't know what it is, and so when they hear, oh, opera, whatever, they don't know what to think, and so they, usually human beings, they like what they know.
Yes.
I find it very important to bring children to the opera, to the arts.
Beautiful. Well,
that's what we do in Austria.
So come to our concert. We
yeah,
have the
come
opera.
to our concert.
Well, we have here down to our last minute of the show, and I want to really thank Boris Bergman from Moscow, who now resides in Brighton, Massachusetts. I thank you for having us here, having you here today. Also, want to thank Rupert
Bergman. Boris Fogel.
my
All German names.
And Olga Lasovsky, I thank you also for, as usual, for coming on the show and making it a nice show. For all those who are listening to our program today, please come out and support Olga and Rupert and Boris in this new exciting piece of music that they're going to bring to the table. Until then, take good care. Bye-bye.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Our family is no less than any other family.
My heart doesn't see race.
Love is love.